Welcome back to another video on the channel, where this time I'm telling you my Premier League predictions about the 23-24 season and how the table is going to look, which teams are going to get relegated, which teams are finishing in my top 4, and some of these may be a bit surprising or even controversial, so after you watch this video, I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. What are your predictions? And did you agree with my predictions that I have here on board soon? And I'm excited about the new Premier League season that's about to start soon. So if you're excited that Premier League is back soon, hit the like to this video. But now starting with my predictions. In at number 20, I have a team that is just about in this year's Premier League, and that's going to be Luton Town. And even though they beat Coventry City in the Championship playoffs, they haven't made all that many big transfers. I think they will be competitive in some of the matches, but I can't see them surviving from relegation. And one of the teams had to be last, even though it's nice to see Luton Town back after a long time in the Premier League. I can see them being maybe the last or second last team in this league next season. And Sheffield United, the next team, again from the Championship. I think they could end up last as well. I flipped between these two, decided though Sheffield United would be 19th, but losing Iliman and Dye, their best goal scorer from last season, it's going to hurt their chances. And they haven't made a pretty similar story to Luton Town. They haven't made all that many big transfers either, so I'm not really trusting them that much. Maybe at best I can see them ending 16th or 17th place, but at this point I have them at 19th. Then maybe the first surprising one to some people, it's going to be at 18th and Everton. And I know that not all that many people are gonna like that I predict that Everton is going to go down to Championship for the 24-25 season. But Everton, for the last two seasons, they have been, I believe, 17th and 16th, and only a couple points away from getting relegated last season. And even though they made couple signings, for example Danjuma heading there, I can't see them getting much better. Maybe they will surprise me, but at this point, comparing them with the last couple seasons, which have been not great for them, let's just say that, I think they are going to get relegated. That being said though, I could see this team getting relegated as well. At 17, I have Bournemouth. And I like a couple of the signings that they made throughout the summer, but they have lost some key players as well. And Bournemouth, last season they pretty much survived because they had surprising results as of late, beating likes of Liverpool, Spurs as well, and that pretty much saved their season. That second half of the season they had some wins late there. Of course they ended in a losing streak, I believe 4-game losing streak at the end of the season, but before that they had important wins, and that was why they survived. And maybe they could survive, at least in my prediction. They just about survive, and Everton would be the one to get relegated. In at number 16, and I wouldn't be surprised if this team got relegated either, Wolverhampton or Wolves. And yeah, they made some signings, sure, but the last season I really wasn't impressed with them, and they lost Ruben Neves, and he was pretty important for them in that midfield position, and it didn't go great at the end of the season for them, and that's one of the reasons why they are 16th in my prediction. Number 15 position, it's going to be the last team that came up from the Championship, and that's going to be Burnley. I like Vincent Kompany as a manager of Burnley, and he probably learned something from Guardiola so that he could get Burnley to, they were great in last season's Championship, won it there, and there was something like 10-point difference to Sheffield United, and I can see Burnley doing surprisingly well this season. Maybe I'm wrong and deluded and something like that, but I could see them ending at 15th, 14th, maybe at best 11th or 12th, but I have them at 15th. And next team, I was flipping between these two teams, Burnley and Nottingham Forest. Maybe surprisingly high, I would say that I ended up putting Nottingham Forest. But their squad, I like it. And last season, obviously, it didn't go as planned, even though they made some great signings. But I do think with the squad that they have, they can't really get relegated, right? I would think. But maybe I'm mistaken. But in my prediction, they are 14th. And I just like their squad, the players they have, even though some of the players departed the team. Either way, I think they are going to end up at 14th. In at 13, and it's going to be West Ham. And I'm not really sure what to make about this team. I could see them ending something like 16th or 17th, or maybe as high as 10th or 11th. They lost Declan Rice in the midfield position. That's going to hurt them bad, but I believe they are signing Edson Alvarez, the Mexican midfielder from Ajax, so that should be interesting signing for them. And well, other than that, they haven't really signed anyone. If they are indeed signing Alvarez, that's really the only big transfer that they made. And the squad, it's okay, but I can't see them really ending in the top 10. 12th position, I have a team that maybe should be further down in the standings, but Crystal Palace, even though they lose Wilfried Zaha, and I believe that's going to hurt their chances a bit, certainly to getting top 10, but I think they should still survive from relegation. Roy Hodgson back as a full-time coach or full season if he doesn't get sacked, obviously mid-season, but that's going to be interesting. How is Crystal Palace going to do? And they signed Matheus Franca as well as Jefferson Lerma, but losing Zaha, that could be big for them. I still think that they could end up being 12th, but they could end up this range also. So, I was debating where should I put Crystal Palace. I ended up putting them at number 12. And 11th, Fulham. And this bottom 10 really is separated for me from top 10. I didn't really have doubt which 10 teams would be the bottom 10 teams, which teams would be top 10. Fulham 11th, and signing Raul Jimenez, that could be surprisingly good acquisition from them if Jimenez stays healthy, obviously. And he has had some injuries at Wolves, and last season I don't think he scored all that many goals, if he scored any. And also signing Calvin Bassey, young defender, maybe that could be a surprisingly good addition for them. My top 10 in the standings, it begins with Brentford, and they made couple interesting signings, and mainly signing young players, and signing Mark Flecken from Freiburg as a goalkeeper, and he did pretty well for Freiburg last season, had quite many clean sheets, and one of the reasons why Freiburg did so well last season in Bundesliga. And if David Raya ends up leaving as a first choice goalkeeper, that Flecken signing could be one of the reasons why they are ending at top 10, at least in my opinion. But number 9, and it's going to be maybe a bit surprising that they are this low in the standings. But Brighton, I just think everything went their way last season, and they ended up they are playing in Europa League this season. But number 9, maybe I should have put them higher. I can see them ending at 6th, 7th, maybe 8th, but I ended up putting them at number 9. And they made some signings. James Milner, for example, he will bring experience from Liverpool, that's for sure. And if likes of Mitoma can have, the players like Mitoma can have a great season like last season, well then I could see them being as high as maybe 6th or 5th. But at this point I'm putting them 9th, maybe underestimating them a bit. Number 8, and I have a feeling that this team's fans will not be happy if it happens again, that Spurs would end up being 8 like they were last season. And I just think Harry Kane probably had the best goal scoring season that he's ever gonna have in the Premier League. Maybe he's gonna score close to that amount, but players like Son have to be better this season if Spurs want to have anything, or if they want to be in the maybe 4th, 5th, 6th, something like that. And well, I just thought there are 7 better teams right now than Spurs in this league, but maybe I'm mistaken. If I'm mistaken, let me know your thoughts in the comments about that as well. And number 7, and well, just before I filmed this video, came the news that Nkunku would be out for a long time, so for that reason only, I'm putting Chelsea at 7th. I thought putting them at 6th, but when I saw that Nkunku news, well, considering that Nkunku, how many goals he scored for Leipzig last season, he could have made a real impact in Chelsea's squad, and now he's gonna be out for some time. And Nkunku, obviously, he would have been a great signing, and depending when he will be good to go, that could impact Chelsea's season. Nicholas Jackson as well, I think it's great signing for them, but for such a young player, it may be a bit too much pressure to score so many goals that Chelsea need. And Chelsea last season, the goal scoring, it was a bit it was a bit of a trouble for them. So, well, they are 7th, and one of the reasons is that goal scoring. Defense, I do think it's going to be good. Midfield, likes of Enzo Fernandez may be great, but who's gonna score the goals now that Nkunku is going to be out for a while? Then number 6, and well, I was a bit surprised in myself that I put Aston Villa at 6th position. Maybe that's high, and Chelsea was there originally, and Spurs, well, they were 7th, and Aston Villa 8th, but I changed Aston Villa to 6th because I like the signings that they made. Moussa Diaby, for example, could be a great signing in attack. Pau Torres, Unai Emery knows him well from Villarreal, should be starting 11 centre-back for them, and some other good signings as well, and I like the Aston Villa squad right now, and I could see them surprising people in this season. I feel like Aston Villa and Chelsea are the 2 teams that may shock people the most, either being really good or, well, quite bad, depending. Chelsea, obviously, if they can score goals without Nkunku, they could be good, but they could have some rough times if they can't score some goals. And for Aston Villa, maybe I'm predicting them too high, but I think their squad, there are some potential players to score goals. Defense, it's looking solid as well. Aston Villa, they end up 6th in my opinion. Ending at number 5, not in Champions League position like in last season, and it's going to be Newcastle. I like the squad, signing Tonali, that could be a huge addition for them in their starting lineup, and also Bruno Guimaraes, Joelinton for example, but I think there were probably few players last season that had the best season of their career, so maybe the numbers are going to be a bit lower, no, maybe not significantly, but a bit lower compared to the last season, and that's one of the reasons why Newcastle ended at number 5. And another big reason is that I just can't see this team, Liverpool, I can't see them being out of the top 4 yet again, or well, yet again, they finished 5th last season, and before that they were really close to winning the title, and I like Klopp as a coach for Liverpool. I think they are going to be better this season. Obviously, it depends. The likes of Nunez, for example, can he score the important goals? They've lost experience in their captain, obviously, Jordan Henderson, Milner as well. So it's going to be interesting to see. They have some experience in their squad, but some young players as well. So will losing Henderson, Milner as well, will that hurt? Losing Firmino as well? I guess only the time will tell. So, as you can probably tell, the top 3 is going to be the same as last season, at least for me in my prediction. But in which order? Let's find out. So, Manchester United are going to be 3rd in my opinion. And I like the signings of Onana, for example. I think he could be a player that Ten Hag really wanted there. And first choice goalkeeper. I could see the defense and goalkeeping being the real strength for United this season. It was already quite good last season, but Onana may be an upgrade over De Gea as well. And well, Højlund, also signing of Mount could be important, but it's going to be interesting to see how much Højlund gets to play and how many goals will he score, that may determine where Manchester United is going to finish in the standings, because I don't think they really have an out-and-out striker who can score lots of goals. Obviously Rashford can play there and can score goals, as well as Bruno Fernandes is going to score goals from midfield, but that goal scoring, if they have an out-and-out striker who can score quite many goals, that could be important for them. And second in my prediction, and maybe is this surprising, I don't know, but I have Arsenal at number 2, and simply because I think there's one team right now who's better than them. Even though Arsenal, they beat Manchester City in the Community Shield, and I was impressed how they played in that match, but still I think there's one better team. Kai Havertz coming there, Jurrien Timber, as well as signing Declan Rice. I think Rice could be really important in that midfield position for them. And Arsenal, they have strengthened their squad. They really haven't lost anyone that big, so I can see this team and their young players growing even more. But in my opinion, that may just not be enough. And I have Manchester City in at first position. And no team, I believe, has ever won four times in a row the Premier League, or the English First Division even. So it's going to be interesting to see whether Manchester City can do that. I predict that's going to be happening. Haaland, for example, one of the reasons. I can't see Haaland not hitting maybe 25-30 goals, and they have just amazing players. Even though they lost Gundogan, that's going to hurt maybe their chances. But Kovacic has already impressed me in his first games with Manchester City. Signing Gvardiol as well. Their defensive depth, it's just ridiculous right now. And Manchester City, I really can't go against Guardiola. I like Guardiola a lot as a coach for City, and I do think City, they can win this season. But these are my prediction, and now let's get to the channel vote and what it says right now. So the channel vote, there is right now 12 votes in, and it's looking interesting in my opinion at least. 33% saying that Manchester City is going to win, but also 33% that United is going to win. Maybe people are just United fans who are voting that, but I can see definitely the reason behind why Manchester United could win. The signings that they made, I think Ten Hag is a great coach for them. So, I wouldn't be all that surprised that United would win. And Arsenal may be surprisingly low at 25%, although only 12 votes, so it's a small sample size either way. And also surprising that Liverpool, no one has voted for them yet. And even though they lost some experience, I think their squad, it's great, maybe a bit thin defensively in terms of quality if Alexander-Arnold, for example, is going to play in the midfield. But still a bit surprising that no one voted for Liverpool. And I believe if I counted correctly, 8%, so one vote for other, so maybe Chelsea, Newcastle, Spurs. But what are your thoughts about this upcoming Premier League season? And what did you make of my predictions? As well as don't forget to leave your predictions as well about this Premier League 23-24 season. What is your top 4 looking like? Which teams are going to get relegated? Maybe tell the whole standings. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And hit the like and subscribe for more football content. And have a nice day.